problem, the increasing refinery capacity as well. Mandy,
Absolutely.
thanks. Hey, we have breaking news right now. The news we've been waiting for weeks. Trump's big announcement. He's not running. Surprise, surprise. Here's part of the statement that he put out. He says, after considerable deliberation and reflection, I have decided not to pursue the office of the presidency. This decision, he says, does not come easily or without regret, especially when my potential candidacy continues to be validated by ranking at the top of the Republican contenders in polls across the country. May I just interject at this point? Remember, he said when he went to New Hampshire and the president had released his long-form birth certificate, and Donald Trump said, wait a minute, there was this poll that showed me dead even, in a head-to-head matchup from CNN. And then CNN said, wait a minute, we never asked that question in the polls. But here's Trump. He says he maintains strong conviction that if he were to run, he could win the primary and ultimately the general election. MSNBC's chief Washington correspondent, Norah O'Donnell, of course, here with us as well. Well, so there it is. He's not running, but if he were to run, he would win.
Well, he's never been blamed for being immodest, right, Contessa?
Right.
His outsized ego, I think, is what fueled this consideration for a presidential run. He flirted with the idea, much to the chagrin of many. His motives for flirting with the presidential campaign were unclear. Many people thought it was just to boost his ratings for his reality TV show that airs on NBC. And look, he suffered a pretty much of an embarrassing couple of weeks by bringing the birther controversy to what many people thought was the main element of his campaign. And once the president released his long-form birth certificate, I think even those that were doubtful within the Republican Party realized that this quote-unquote controversy over the birth certificate was a joke, and that by Donald Trump raising it, that it was a distraction from the really important issues facing this country.
And the interesting thing here is that we just had Mike Huckabee announcing that he's not going to run for president and saying, I think Donald Trump would make a great president, a better president than Barack Obama. Donald Trump, by the way, Nora, in the statement says, and here's the promise to all Americans, that he will continue to voice his opinions loudly and to help shape our politicians' thoughts. So we have that to look forward to.
Well, there's no doubt that Donald Trump is going to all of a sudden disappear and remain quiet on important issues. He still likes to be heard, and I think he'll continue to speak out. But running for president is a very different thing than being part of debate. It requires a lot of tough, hard work, meeting hand-to-hand with voters. You know, Donald Trump is a germ freak, and you got to spend a lot of time, with shoe leather and shaking hands out in Iowa and New Hampshire and all the caucus states. It would take him away from his business, and I also think he would face a lot of financial scrutiny about just how he runs his entire business. I mean, there was just a piece on the front page of the New York Times over the weekend. I'm sure you saw Contessa once again raising questions about how Donald Trump made his money and continues to make his money. So I think part of the scrutiny that would come in, the financial scrutiny, is something that has to be considered as well. And who knows what Melania thought? I mean, we have all the talk about presidential candidates and their spouses, whether Melania was ever opposed or in favor of running for president.
And by the way, it wasn't necessary to wait for the announcement on the presidential run. He had said that if the president releases long-form birth certificates, that he would release the financial documents. Didn't do it, but all that's, I guess, water under the bridge at this point. Nora, you have much more to come, I know, on Andrea Mitchell Reports, filling in for her today, so we'll look forward to that. I got to get to some breaking news here on the IMF front.